Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Emmy the Cat Lady, and you join me here in Fallout 4 for another Wasteland Biographies. So this is a railroad mission, Derailed. So anyone that's played Fallout 4 knows about the railroad. They're a secret underground organisation who spend their time helping escaped synths flee the Institute. They move in the shadows, employing all your cloak and dagger stuff like dead drops, rail signs and code phrases. But the wasteland is dangerous and things can go wrong. Especially with the SRB on the job pursuing these escaped synths to recapture them. So Bedford Station here is a location that you can come across quite early in the game. It's really not too far from Concord, so if you are heading past up towards 10 Pines Bluff to do that quest, which is the kind of earliest Minutemen quest you get once you settle at Sanctuary, you can kind of pass by this place. So this is Bedford Station, which is a railway kind of crossroads crossing line that did serve the quarry at Thicket Excavations. As you can see, there's trailers with big blocks of stone or whatever that is that they've been digging up there. So it's currently occupied by feral ghouls, so when you get here there's going to be a bunch of ghouls, some of them asleep, some of them eating other ghouls that are dead, but you'll have to clear them all out, which I've done in preparation for this. But if you explore carefully, you can discover a tragic tale of drama, sacrifice and fear. So the first person we want to talk about in relation to this is this gentleman here. So this is Dutchman, and on his body you'll find some instructions. So obviously he has sadly not survived this situation, but he has a note on him which gives his instructions. So let me just find it, so let's have a look at that. So he's got a note here to deliver the package, which is a synth designated A951. Needs to meet the runner at the old switching station. The runner arrives at midnight, and if you need gear, to look in the blue barrels. So that's awesome. So you can find this blue barrel quite easily. So it's inside this train car here. So this blue train car over here. And if you have a look this side, so all these other barrels are rust coloured, but there's a blue one here, and you'll notice the rail sign. So you'll probably encounter this before you make contact with the railroad, but it's worth looking out for these little signs. They can be quite helpful in letting you know if there's loot around or if there's something particularly dangerous. They have a range of different kind of rail signs for kind of communicating in a kind of sneaky way. Because people might see that and just think, oh, it's just random graffiti, not know what it means. But yeah, there's generally some decent stuff. So you'll find in the barrel there's a cooler that has a dead drop, so there's some ammo, stim pack, radaway, some food, some armour. If you are level 20, I'm not sure what level this guy is, it's 17 on this character, so if you're level 20 you can find a railway rifle here. So that's a way of potentially getting one before you actually meet the railroad, if that's something that you want, because it's apparently their signature weapon. I'm not sure when that happened, but here we are. So the runner did arrive, and we can actually find her body as well. So if we come out here and we look over here, there's a kind of water tower, so this would be to sort of fill up the water for the engines. And if we look here, sadly she didn't make it either. So this is Helena, and she's also got instructions on her, but she sadly didn't make it either. So if we look for her instructions, it's a bit more simple, and the package arrives at midnight, so which is fairly straightforward. When you're doing the cloak and dagger stuff, you want to not give away any important information but still get your message across. So clearly she was the runner that was supposed to meet Dutchman here at midnight to acquire the package, but she didn't survive as well. So we've got two dead people who were clearly part of the railroad. They're railroad agents, and they were here to exchange their package of an escaped synth, but sadly both have fallen in the line of duty. So what actually happened here? Well, if we come up to the station master's tower here and climb up, we will find ourselves... Yeah, the game's given us all the dramatic music because we've discovered something, as it likes to do. So we can have a look at the terminal here, which controls the spotlight, and there's also a holotape, which we'll take. So the tracks need to be cleared, yeah, we can kind of see that. So there's recording that was made on this terminal. Let's scroll back up to the B, so let's have a listen.
It's past. She's late. No, something's wrong. Someone's coming. Look, 5 of them. It's a trap. Damn it, they've got us surrounded. What do? I'll draw them off. Give me a count of 10, then break for the tree line. What? Dutchman, There's no time. Good luck, A9. 10, 9, 8, 7. No! No! No. I'm not going back. I can't. I won't.
Then it cuts off. So that kind of confirms that they were caught and surrounded while they were stuck inside this building. It's not clear exactly who the attackers were, but it's safe to assume they were agents of the Institute, whether they were coursers or mercenaries like gunners that were hired to track them down or something like that. We don't really know for sure, but there was people there that were a threat, and Dutchman decides that the only choice is for him to draw their fire and attention and keep them busy so that A9 can make a break for it and run into the trees. And we heard there the fight begins and A9 panics and then the recording cuts off. It's very likely, since Helena was here, she potentially arrived during the fight and she was late, so it does say at the beginning, you know, it's past, she's late. So she was running late, something delayed her to getting here on time, so possibly she made it here and the fight was already happening and she potentially tried to get involved and got herself killed and perished in the crossfire. A9's fate is unknown. It's never mentioned. He's never mentioned again anywhere else. There's no synth corpse here. However, there is cut content that hints at an equally grisly fate for A9. So in the game, you do see that there's, you know, bloodstains, and there's also a weapon, a 10mm pistol that's been dropped as well. So in the game we can find that there's some cut dialogue in the form of companion comments, so that's something that you'll notice if you do travel with companions in Fallout 4. In certain places and situations they'll make comments related to what you can see. So this was supposed to be something that happened here, and the comments, the script notes, suggest that A951 committed suicide in order to avoid going back to the Institute. And the comments do fit the characters well. So, for example, Kate would have said, "Not much left of this bloke, is there?" And the script note says that it should be in an amused tone of voice. Codsworth urges the player character not to choose this route whatever happens. X688 points out that the unit could have been saved with a memory reset, so that kind of shows the Institute's attitude to, you know, synth that committed suicide so that they didn't have to go back to the Institute. It was cut from the game, so you can't really consider it canon, but we'll never really know the fate of A951. But we do know that 2 railroad agents ended up martyrs for their cause, and it's something that the organisation has experienced a lot of when we do finally meet them as part of the main story. They are lacking resources, they've lost people, they're losing territory in the Commonwealth, they're avoiding the Institute's coursers and all the regular day-to-day dangers of being in the Wasteland. So when we get here, as I said, it's full of ghouls. There's a lot of feral ghouls that you have to kind of take care of. Likelihood is they maybe moved in after this all went down. And it does kind of make things interesting, because you might not realise the significance of the notes or the rail sign that you saw at the barrel until you actually meet the railroad later in the story, certainly your first time through, and then you discover that there's this organisation that's moving in the shadows, and they've got all these kind of secret codes and things like that to kind of keep themselves safe. So it's possible that, A9 escaped and found a new life somewhere else. We don't really know. The cut content hints at further tragedy, but it's cut content, so we don't really know. But the railroad are down another 2 agents after this incident, so it is clear why they're struggling to achieve anything until a helpful protagonist with a sympathetic ear for synth welfare comes along and decides to help them out. And as for the Institute, they are probably the bad guys here. It's likely that the attackers were sent by the Institute, whether they were coursers or something else. It doesn't really say, but it's probably the Institute that's behind it, because aren't they always? And that segues nicely into the plan for next month's big video essay, where I want to talk about the Institute, their role as villains, and how effective they are in this role. So stay tuned for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about this situation. And if you have any thoughts on the Institute, I would love to hear it. I have also opened up the community posts, so subscribers can actually post and start conversations and start discussion threads on the community page as well. So I'm more than happy to encourage that, and certainly sort of thoughts on the Institute and some of the things that they've done that you have thoughts about. Would absolutely love to hear it. I say I'm kind of starting to gather things. But this month's video essay is going to be on the main story of Fallout 3. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm hoping to have that ready to go by Thursday, but there's a few things kind of going on, so might be a bit delayed, but I'll do my best to kind of get that put together as soon as possible and hopefully get it out to you on time. Everything's basically recorded. It's all just editing and putting everything together and getting the video actually put together and ready to go. So hoping to have that done by Thursday, but if there is any delays, I'll let you guys know. But I'm really excited to kind of share my thoughts on this, because I know Fallout 3 is a bit of a contentious one, and there's certainly things that I think do need to be defended. There's certainly things that I don't think can be defended when it comes to the main story. It is just focused on the storyline, not anything about technical stuff, although I have experienced some very bizarre glitches while recording footage which I've never seen before in Fallout 3. I don't really know what that's all about, but I'll maybe put together another little blooper reel with some of the weird stuff that's happened that I've managed to record. So we'll see how that goes, but hopefully that'll be out Thursday, and then Saturday we'll be picking up the Wasteland Botany. So if you want to see more, if you enjoy my content, then a like and a comment always helps, and if you want to subscribe so that you can see more, it's all very much appreciated, and I'm happy to bring you more content soon. See ya. Bye.